candidate Adams. Just to let you know, Gabby there is 17 years old and is going to be turning 18 very soon on March 19th, I'm told. And she wants to pre register to vote. She comes to us through our collaboration with the YWCA, where she's an active YW leader. And she has a question about remote learning. Take it away, Gabby.
Hello, thanks for having me. My question is, what are your plans to improve the remote learning space for students who may not have internet connection at home and do not have a positive learning environment at home?
Are we unmuting ourselves or do we get unmuted centrally?
You'll unmute yourself.
Okay. Well, what I want to do then is get study bubbles and put everybody in the study bubble, put them back in school next to each other, and then they don't have to do remote learning anymore. If they can do it for bars and for Harry Potter themed restaurants or like a cauldron, we can do it for our schools. Thank you.
All right. So, are you ready to get into a stubble bubble, Gabby? You like that answer? Should we move on?
Sure, that sounds great.
All right. Great to see you there. So that was Gabby Knight with a question about remote learning in the time of COVID. For our next question, we're looking at another thing about another question that has to do with learning. And just like deja vu all over again, Gabby's going to be questioning candidate Adams about that. So, Gabby, come back. Ask your question.
Question. My question is, what is my question
Oh,
supposed
I'm sorry,
to be?
I got that wrong. Don't listen to me. I'm fired. This is Maya Payne's turn. Maya Payne comes to us from Talent United High School. She's a student in the Bronx and a member of Y Vote, and is a 17-year-old student at Talent Unlimited High School. Now, Maya also hasn't been able to pre-register to vote yet because of the driver's license issue, but definitely plans to make her voice heard at the ballot box. And her question, being posed to candidate Donovan, is about criminal justice reform. Well, now it's Maya. Okay, Mia. Take it away, Junior Man.
Turn your camera on.
Thank you. So my question is around criminal justice reform. When focusing on that, how do you plan to eradicate police misconduct and building trust between police and communities of color? And how will you test an officer's beliefs and values to ensure that they don't align with white supremacy, and will use those same tactics when reevaluating the structure of policies within other systems like education, healthcare, housing, etc.?
This is a question for me. Is it electorally safe to say let's just abolish the police? No, is that not a winning argument?
Well, I mean, that's not realistic, candidate Donovan. From you, I'm really looking for specifics. Like it's something that we face in our neighborhood every day.
Okay. All right, save some for the paying customers. Thank you. That is some great insight there. And we'll be making sure to track your success at the ballot box now. Thank you for that. We are going to be moving on to our third question of the evening. Thank you both to Mia and candidate Donovan. Now, Serena Yang is going to be asking Carlos Menchaca a question, but a little bit about Serena. She is a youth poet laureate. You heard her at the top of the show. And she has a question about homes and housing right now. So, Serena, please engage candidate Menchaca.
Yeah, I was wondering, what do you think is more important to our city right now? Building new homes and apartment buildings rather than refurbishing and better utilizing our existing homes and stores? What do you think?
Well, thank you for your question. I think it's an important question because I think at this moment in time, we need to keep our resources in as many areas as we can these days. So I would say a little bit of both on you.
I missed the answer because Marcus was telling me what to do, but I'm sure that it is a great solution to help folks out. Yeah, you were. So thank you for that, Serena, and thank you, candidates Menchaca. Housing, of course, is a very serious issue, and I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit more later. But now we're going to turn to our fourth question of the evening. I'm looking at Michael Latoure, who is 22 and registered to vote. Michael is coming to us from Friends of Rikers Island Academy. Friends of Island Academy. Can't have an academy without Rikers. Thank you for coming into the room, Michael. We really appreciate it. And I see that you have a question about the NYPD for candidate Chang. I know. Wait, I have to talk about the organization? What?
Zach, that's going to be you in just a moment, but wait for Brian to be ready.
Yeah, I'm still trying to work out a way to do that in a not patronizing way. Like, oh, did you get that, you dummy? Yeah, like you're 12 years old. Well, if they say bullshit, I'm just going to talk directly to the candidate anyway. Yep. It's not about us. It is Michael questioning candidate Art Chang about the NYPD's gang database.
And Zach, if you could center yourself.
Okay, so I don't have the text with me right now. So, because you didn't send me that text today.
It's fine. You can say whatever you want. It's just
Okay.
as
Sure.
long as you're there as a placeholder.
Okay. So what do you think about the situation after COVID, if you get the mayoral position?
I think it's great. I think, yeah, COVID is really, we don't look at the upside of it as much as we could. And, you know, I think it's fake news that it's bad.
Thank you.
Okay, so were you satisfied with that answer, Michael? Okay, great. Thank you. Moving on. You see how this is working, folks. We are going to now turn to Renee Mendonca, Renee Mendonca, who is an 18-year-old, happens to be an identical twin with a sister at Susan Wagner High School in Staten Island, where she's a recent graduate and attends now the College of Staten Island. Now, as far as voting registration, I see that Renee is not yet registered, but planning on being registered before the primary, which is very important in New York. There's no same-day registration, so get out there and do it. Rhea's question is going to be posed to candidate Cleopatra Fitzgerald, and it's about opportunities for immigrant students. Renee?
Stand by. We're trying to figure out. Does anyone know who is Renee? Who got the Renee stand-in here? Was that Fred? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Fred, if you could start video. Ross, if you could start video.
Fred, are you still here?
Hi,
Hi, Fred.
sorry, Rob.
You're asking a question about,
Oh, my bad, y'all.
Question number 5.
yeah.
Let me go to talking points. Let's see. Not Serena, right? Renee.
Yeah, you're Renee.
Okay.
About immigrant students.
What do you think is more important for our city right now? Building new homes and apartment buildings rather than refurbishing or better utilizing our existing homes and stores?
This is a question to Cleopatra.
Yeah,
That's
that was
correct.
the question we had earlier.
Oh,
We're on
look.
question 5. No, we're on question 5, Renee for Cleopatra.
For
Okay,
Cleopatra.
sorry.
Okay, here I am. Was that the right question? Should I answer that one?
No,
It doesn't
I'm sorry, I
matter.
changed
This
my
is all for
question.
play.
What is your vision for the immigrant students in America who aim to pursue a better life in the United States? What opportunities do you want to include that will benefit the immigrant population?
I think we should provide them with citizenship and other opportunities that we should include. Well, I think we should also provide them with interest-free loans when necessary and with yeah, I think those things.
Okay, well, with all due respect.
All right, how much of that is in the power of the mayor even? Like, am I allowed to ask that? Like, to say, as you understand it, how much of that is in the power of the person who would be mayor? Okay.
The mayor has a bully pulpit, so the mayor would probably not do anything to provide citizenship, but could maybe bang the drum for that necessity. It could do something about providing loans or grants for individuals to gain access to education, and maybe make grants specifically for students in the immigrant population. And other than that, I don't know that I prepared well for this question.
Well, you want to be the mayor. Thank you so much for those thoughtful answers and for the great probative question there, Renee. We just have a few more questions left here. We're about halfway through, so I want to turn our attention now to Benjamin Weiss, who is going to be in dialogue with Bill Pipitone. Now, Benjamin is one of our youngest participants there at 14 and attends Brooklyn Collaborative Middle School. Now, Ben is a member of Integrate New York City and has a question about school integration. Ben, the floor is yours.
Yes, my question is, how would you tackle the issue of segregated schools in New York City? And more specifically, how would you tackle the issue as pertaining to the resources, restorative justice, relationships, representation, and enrollment procedures?
I would unify all of the school boards so that any donation that goes to your local school would all be pooled and split equally, because one of the biggest segregation divisions between schools is local support. That's what I would do, and then I'd have firing squads for people who were too selfish and didn't share the money.
And how would one get an application to join this firing squad, Mayor? Pepitone.
I would, you're in.
Are there going to be auditions? Do you just like show up with a gun?
There's plenty of people to shoot. We could just find the Republican registry and do target practice, and then go from there. I like your attitude.
Thank you. That's the GOP candidate for New York City mayor speaking. All right. Benjamin, you good with that? Great. Now we're going to be turning from 14-year-old Benjamin now to barely legal Lauren Weisberg. Lauren's an 18-year-old from Staten Island and goes to Port Richmond High School. Not yet registered to vote once again, but is getting her driver's license, which for a lot of folks in this room and our city has been a huge barrier to the registration of voting. And on March, so she will be able to register and vote in our primary. Lauren also happens to be a member of Y Vote. And her question is about police and mental health calls. Lauren, you're going to be speaking with Eddie Cullen.
Okay, Eddie, can police reform include specialization within the police officers?
Absolutely, it can. And I think when I'm mayor, I would do everything I can do to make that happen.
All right, that was short, sweet, and to the point. Does that sort of sway in your vote there? Are you feeling what he's laying down, Lauren?
I just don't want to vote at all. I may just skip the whole thing. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, have fun. All right. So from Lauren in Staten Island to Khalil. Khalil is a member of Friends of Island Academy and 22 years old. And Khalil is going to be questioning Thomas Downs, candidate Thomas Downs, on ways to keep teens safe and off the streets. Khalil.
Hi, my question is, what programs can be fun that will help teens stay off the street?
There are plenty of programs that we can make sure that the kids continue to have. First, we can start with music, then we can start with recreation. I think if you have any suggestions, send them my way when I'm mayor, and we'll make sure that that happens.
Okay, so you're going to have an open dialogue. How do you intend for people to get in touch with you while you're mayor? Or even right now on your campaign, do you have a suggestion line or a way that folks could call you up and say, hey, over here?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. So I'll take that idea. It'll be a suggestion line, and everyone can call in and suggest what they would like to see in after school programs be, and then we'll take it step by step.
All right. So Khalil, could you see yourself calling that line? Great. So I have a question now that is next on the roster, being edited by Amanda Harrington right now, from Dariel Infante. Dariel is going to be speaking with candidate Adams there. At 17 years old, Daryl is graduating this year and not yet pre-registered to vote. Daryl's a member of Future of Tomorrow and has a question about police-free schools. Daryl, you're on with candidate Eric Adams.
Hello, candidate Adams. My name is Dariel Infante, and my high school is a great place because it's a place where newcomers to this country can start a new life in a big city. It is the place where we feel safe, where we feel familiar. But our schools could improve with more funding for mental health support, student activities, and other necessary resources. The DOE, City Council, and Mayor Bill de Blasio are spending $450 million on school policing and the criminalization of youth of color, instead of investment for students in schools like mine. The school-to-prison pipeline affects many Black, Hispanic, and Latino youth by exposing them to the possibility of deportation and our criminal justice system. Borough President Eric Adams, will you commit to divesting from the school safety division budget and invest in mental health support, restorative justice practices, and more public school funding for our New York City schools?
Yes, all of that. I mean, a lot of people think breaking up the police is bad because it unleashed Sting's solo career on the world, but I think in the schools we should arm the students, fire the police, and make it all happen.
You don't think that's
That
gonna
was an
make kids turn their
inspiring
guns
answer.
sideways at each other?
I don't know why they would, because there's plenty of other targets they can shoot, and there's lots of rats.
Oh, man.
I don't know, squirrels, stuff like that. So I don't think
Well,
so.
this is certainly
But-
taking an interesting turn. We appreciate this frank dialogue and those genius questions. And
My name is
continuing the
Dariel.
thread. Thank you, Dariel. You're a
Not
credit
Frank.
to your generation. My IFB?
Okay, folks, so let's just hold for a second. Ro and Brian are gonna have a sidebar. We're doing great here, guys. Sorry, hold on a second. Okay, guys, so now let me just have your attention for a second. We're gonna skip ahead to section 3 here. And Brian's probably going to, on camera, rehearse explaining it to everyone. But how it's gonna work is
So I want to ask you. Okay.
Is there any way we
Can
could
you hear
mute
me now? I
Brian
wanted
for
to
a
ask
second?
you something.
Brian?
Michael is saying my name. No,
Okay, thanks.
I
So-
was talking to
So
Ro, but
everyone, so
Michael,
just
do
so you know, we're
need
moving
something?
on to section 3 now, and what that's going to is the candidates are going to now ask a question, and the
So just a
youth
process
participants are
thing.
going to
Am I
want
going
to
to be
throw
on
a
the
question mark
screen
into
while
the chat
they're
if they'd like
talking
to
to the
answer the
candidate?
question. So if that's not the case, if you guys don't have any questions, I think Brian has some canned questions, but yeah, so for those of you with the dollar signs in front of your name, the tables are going to be turned. Be prepared to answer some questions yourselves. When you want to volunteer, just put a question mark into the chat and we'll monitor it from there. And now if we can unmute Brian, I'm going back on the comms.
So tell me again. So I introduce them, they take it full, and then I pop up when it's done. So how much do I have to be ready? So, oh, you heard me. So like, I'm just working under the assumption that the camera's in my face the whole night. So like, yeah. So just so you all know, it is just because I'm not getting like an accurate view of what's going out in from this vMix view that I have. So I don't know what program is looking like. And so that's just why and it is what it is. I'm not my business, but I'm just saying
So yeah, Brian, what are you seeing?
well, right now Eric is in my computer doing a bunch of stuff, so I'm getting half of the thing, but I'm seeing Marcus. The top left corner is my view of myself, and I have you in the bottom left corner, and then myself in the center. And now I'm looking at the grid and you in the bottom corner and myself.
Yeah, so
in the
you're getting
top corner.
program feed.
Okay, because right now I'm looking at myself in the box next to myself, row. And
Oh, so you can get rid of that red outlined box. There's that little bottom window that pops up in the vCall thing, and there'll be a red box you can click, and that'll turn off the self view mirror.
A red box? It's a green box that is on my. Okay, I hit it and now it's red and I'm gone. Okay. All right, I got it. Thank you. Yeah, this must be it. Everyone's looking at a grid right now, but I have Marcus still in the bottom left corner. That's
Yeah, so I'm the representative of the ASL interpreter. This is where they'll exist.
Oh, Sybil, got it.
And can we?
No, I got that. No worries.
Be in dialogue and ask questions of the youth that are present. So originally we had it like, oh, if you want to say something, you'll just put a question mark in the chat. Instead, I just kind of want it to be an open-ended like dialogue. And instead of, as a matter of fact, the candidates are no longer, because we added another candidate, the candidates are no longer going to ask a question because we don't have time for that. Brian is just going to give one prompt and it's just going to get all of them talking. So Brian, your job is to make sure the politicians don't suck the air out of the room and step all over the kids to get their message out.
So this is for that, for the last part?
Yeah.
When they're doing the back and forth?
Yep. So now that we added Menchaca, we don't have time to get to each candidate to give their open-ended question. So you're just going to throw out a prompt, an open-ended prompt to get the dialogue going and get them talking to one another. So I think the key in this part is just to make sure that the politicians aren't stepping all over the kids to get, to be the one that talks the most. So
are we furnishing questions or are we taking questions from the people? Like, did the Politico share anything?
They haven't shared anything. We sent them the dialogue and told them to be prepared for to give an open-ended prompt. But because we're going to run out of time, we're just going to give the open-ended prompt. And I think that prompt, we'll just give one and then we'll spend the time discussing. And I think that prompt will just be like New York City right now needs, and then that's it. And then give them all a chance to just jump in and start talking about it. Does that work for you?
Okay. Yes, so we'll say New York City needs, and then
All right.
do a ladder, candidate, kid.
Yeah, yeah. So, the way you can set that up is you can just be like, hey, we want to make sure that, you know, the candidates aren't talking, that we're not talking at you, you know, we're talking with you. So we want the candidates, we want to mix it up. We want the candidates talking to the youth that are here. So I'm going to ask a question and I want you guys to talk amongst yourselves and then kind of let it go like that.
And how long?
I think we have 8 minutes. I'm not sure. I don't know how much time it landed on after we added Menchaca. So let me ask Amanda, how many minutes do we have?
14 minutes for section 3.
Oh, 14 minutes.
14 minutes of open dialogue that I'll just keep the timing and make sure everybody is everybody.
Yeah. And so, yeah. And I'm thinking that maybe, how are we gonna manage that, like, visually? Like, how many? Because I'm looking at, what are we're like, it's gonna be grid. This is gonna be
here.
Yeah, it's gonna be way more boxes once we're in it. It's gonna be grid format for the most part, and maybe we'll have some ISOs, like pulling people out full screen. If they're, you know, like if they're talking for an extended period of time or making a longer comment.
Have we run this by the interpreter? Because I know, like, with the interpretation and the lag and all that jazz, sometimes it's
there's 2 interpreters, so they're gonna bounce off of each other. So I think the interpreters are prepared for whatever dialogue happens. We're not, you know, they're
We'll have that
Yeah, it's
conversation
not
with
like-
them later, but I'll say that visually, the best thing that we can do right now to make sure we have a good way to lock this in is to actually start this rehearsal.
Because I just want to.
Okay, cool.
These are good
I
questions,
just want to
but-
make sure if because there's like X number of young people and X number of candidates, just even keeping track of who's speaking, like, in the grid.
So we're going to be
Yeah,
highlighting-
that's going to be my job, to kind of be in your ear and be like, you know, kind of such and such hasn't talked. We haven't heard from such and such, and I'll try to keep track of that. Okay. And I think we'll
we
just
have-
come up
we
with.
have the stand-ins for another 20 minutes. I'd really love to, like, get the. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to keep jumping in, but this is.
Yeah,
for
no,
me,
I
the
thank you,
best
Michael.
job
I
we can
appreciate
do.
it. I feel like we have plenty of time to kind of work through this. It's really just a, you know, whoever's talking, maybe full screen for a little bit and back to grid, full screen, back to grid, full screen, back to grid. So, all right. So Brian, we'll come up with the specific open-ended questions later, but if you can just explain the process and then go into the toss out the question and get them talking.
Okay. You want to do it now?
Yep. I'm going to give you the
All
3,
right.
2, 1.
So we've heard some direct question and response between the candidates and the youth. And we thought it would be interesting to sort of remove some of those restrictions and have a free-flowing conversation between the candidates and the youth, New Yorker to New Yorker. So I'm going to be here throwing out a few prompts and making sure that the conversation stays moving, but we thought it would be interesting for you all to dialogue with each other. So this exchange is going to begin with the prompt of, what does New York need now? Do I have a youth who'd like to kick us all off, and you can all respond, and maybe we'll work to some sort of consensus? What does New York need right now? Renee? I don't remember. I remember Ria, Renee, and Michael. Maybe we'll start off with the youngster. What do you think the city needs right now?
Hi, this is
So are we
Maya.
really
Can
gonna?
I jump in?
Yeah,
Okay.
please,
I
Mia.
think the
Mia,
city
Maya.
needs authentic leadership and not just a bunch of like talking heads that are going to be up in Gracie Mansion. And even though we're being encouraged to vote, a lot of my friends don't think that their vote will count. So it's a bigger problem than just mayor. It's just, I think that a lot of us are just not convinced that the system is going to work for us, no matter which one of these 10 candidates gets in there.
So maybe that's an answer about New York City needs more engagement and maybe more civics, and the reason for young people to believe that their vote matters. Who else has an answer to the question of what does New York City need right now? No wrong answers, just your opinions and where you think we should be headed.
This is candidate Yang hopping in out of nowhere, and he's saying, what do you think about $2,000 for UBI? If I were to give you and your family $2,000 for UBI, wouldn't you be happy? Wouldn't the world be a better place?
I take it. Thank you. Anyone else want to respond to that?
I think the exact opposite. I think you should pay an extra $2,000 a month.
An extra even. Good luck with that. Thank you.
Does candidate Yang have a rebuttal?
Say universal health
There's
care
no
with
rebuttals
an
here. We're
UBI.
just talking.
I'm not sure how this crosstalk would work.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's much more spirited than this is happening right now.
I'm crying.
Well, we're not
But I
doing
appreciate
rebuttals. We're
people-
having a conversation.
What I expect is going to happen is when this prompt comes out, the politicians are going to be dying to, use this as the time to kind of get their messaging out. So I don't think we're going to have a problem with politicians speaking. So I think it's kind of going to be up to you, Brian, to reel in the youth. And based on a lot of the youth that we pre-interviewed, I think that they're going to jump in and talk as well. I don't think that they're going to be necessarily intimidated. Amanda can, let me know her thought, like chime in on her thoughts, but based on what we saw, I think that there's going to be a few of them that are excited to kind of jump in and discuss and be part of this discussion. What I'll do, since this is so awkward for staff, what I'll do is when we have them sign in for the tech at 6:30 and 6:45, we'll reiterate kind of how this is going to go down so that there's even more of a comfort level. But yeah, you got another. Okay, I'm going to throw out another prompt, or Brian, if you can throw out this prompt. What's wrong? What's wrong with transportation? Transportation in New York City needs.
So just to keep the conversation going, what's the number one infrastructure need in New York City right now? Short answers, no soliloquies. Just tell us what's grinding your gears right now about living in New York City.
Need flying cars.
Where are you going to park them?
Control
In the
of the
air.
homeless population in the subway.
So when is New York City going to be safe from COVID? When can we all not go back to work from home? Yes. Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, don't all talk at once.
Brian, that question
Well,
is way
everyone
too
should talk
soon.
Wow. A more important question. Jonathan, when is the pool open? We are ready for a day out.
I'm telling you, I can't wait till all the snow is gone. Ain't nowhere near close.
It is
It's
warm
crazy.
today, though.
I got
Look how
about
sunny it
6
is.
feet of snow that now has went to 3 foot of snow. So
Oh my God. I was out this morning chopping snow since it turned into an igloo, and I'm like, melt, Melt, go away. Because if you just leave it in those stupid piles, it'll stay till August. And my neighbor was like, "What are you doing? Mind your business."
It's 50 degrees today.
so-
I'm just letting mine melt.
But
And
I
it
was,
keeps
was
the
literally
squirrels out of the
outside.
yard. Because the
No,
squirrels
I
have
was
been
outside in a t-shirt, just in the front little patch of grass. There's this huge little igloo, and like if you knock on it, it's like it's shellacked. So I was like, I gotta break this up because this stuff will stay here for weeks. Like y'all gotta go today.
Well, I love it being in
Leave
the
me alone.
backyard because it keeps the squirrels from tearing up my grass. So
Let them squirrels live.
this is fun. We'll just talk for regular, and then in like 5 minutes, let's just go through kind of the end close kind of thing.
You know, Ro, what I'd like to suggest is that we just go into the end close now, and then because we have ASL coming in at 4 o'clock, we can take the rest of the time. We can release stand-ins, then we can take the rest of the time and exchange notes.
That is an excellent suggestion. So Brian, remember what I said about the end close and kind of encouraging them to kind of not let it stop here and, you know, tweet their questions to the candidates who aren't here, because this is
All right.
bigger than that. And reminding them of the primary, June 22nd.
Yeah, I need someone to put that in the thing too. So I want to thank you
Yeah,
all for
we'll
being here
add that to-
tonight and sharing your time and being so open to the exchange. Some of you are too young to vote, but we're glad that you made your voices heard. And you will all have the chance to make your voices and your votes heard as New Yorkers go to the poll for the first time using a new system of voting. Ranked choice voting is here, folks. We're the biggest city to ever give it a try, and we're hoping that you'll educate yourself and maybe watch that video that we shared a few times before you head to the polls. Find out how ranked choice voting could impact your community. And that primary day is again on June 22nd or 23rd sometime. To all of the candidates, thank you for being here. Good luck. We wish the best for you and for our city. And for the youth, we really thank you for being here, being so involved in this process. And I'd like to let you know personally that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Welcome to the world of voting and civics and taking part in the democracy. And it only works if you work it. So really do get invested and make the change that you want to see in your communities and keep those people who were voting in accountable to you. All right. So thank you for joining us tonight for this Brick Town Hall. We'll see you at the polls. Bye now.
Okay, guys, I'd like to thank you all. Stand-ins, you are released. And everyone else, we have 10 minutes. Let's do notes.
Hi, Brian. Love you.
Bye,
Thank you.
Brownie. It's so good
Appreciate
to
you
see all of
guys.
you guys.
Thank you all.
Virtual.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thanks for your time. We really
Take a
appreciate
leg.
it. Ross, thanks so much. Dan, you're the best.
Take care, guys. Brian, nice to see you.
You too, Dan.
Yep.
Zach, you're okay.
Ross, Ro,
It's
Amanda,
too long.
everybody, good to see you.
Everybody.
Jonathan.
So, Brian, can we talk a little bit about where you're going to, is this the shot that we're going to have with obviously some tweaks?
No, I'm going to be about, because I'm going to put the computer on the table that's behind me. I just have to bring it over a little bit because of the tower and the thing. So I will do that when we hang up, or even now, whatever, because I'm putting the light. I'm really going to make the same shot from our last town hall.
Great. Eric, are
Which
you
is
on this
like
call? Can
3
you, are you, can you speak on the Zoom or? No, okay. Yeah, let's just get, what I'd like to do is just make sure I have an idea of what your image looks like.
No, I'm in the Ethernet. It's plugged in, so it's as good as we're going to get.
David Feldman, I don't know if you are on Zoom or if you are simply on Unity, but I know you had some. Okay. All right, so stand by. So I'm going to actually move this conversation over to comms now. Okay, so David, you wanted to have a conversation with Ro for 2 minutes?
That's fine. I live alone. Okay.
Mia, how are you?
Hey, how
So
you
we're
doing?
actually communicating on comms right now. We just got done with our rehearsal, and so that's how we're talking. So you'll see us here.
I'm here.
You'll see a few of us here, but we're all muted, and some of us might be talking. But so
Okay,
just,
perfect.
okay.
Yeah, and I just got an email from Lisa. She said she's in the VMix room, so I think
What does
she's
that
good in
mean?
there.
All right, I'll make sure Marcus sees
Really?
about that.
So what does that mean? Because I'm sitting next to you with my computer on the network and this computer, and my phone is okay. How do you fix an upload speed? I'm speaking with Eric now.
Nia, can you have Lisa refresh her page?
Yep, let me ask her now.
Who needs to refresh their page? Me? Or that was not for me? I can. So Dave, in terms of that, does that mean just try to stay off devices, essentially? Because I can't imagine that anyone's uploading anything at the moment. But like I said, I'm sitting here with my computer and my, you know, all of the trappings. I got the computer, the phone, and all this stuff. Yeah, I'm not sending stuff out. You do? Okay, thank you. Sounds good. Can I leave or do you need me? Say again? All right, I'm gonna get out then.
Hey, Nia.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. So, I think, Antonio, can you hear me? Ah, perfect. Okay. So currently right now, I believe you've just got a return frame of Brian Vines kind of frozen, and there should be a little image of you actually in the lower left-hand corner there as well. So, sorry, I kind of jumped right into it. My name's Marcus. I'm one of the vMix engineers. So I'm gonna get you piped back into this Zoom session so we can all hear each other and see each other. So I'll be just a moment.
I'm on radio if you require.
Thanks.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Hey, Ro.
Hey Nia. So do we have the translators on or?
Yeah, Marcus is working on piping them in.
Yeah, currently they can hear us, but we can't see them, and I've almost got their audio piped in as well. So it'll be just a
Awesome.
minute.
Cool. I don't think my YouTube stream is working anymore. Oh, I see one of them. Yeah, I do. Okay, I see him. Yeah, he's got a blue background. He's making sure he's gonna stand up. Cool. We should mention that, what do you call that? That group discussion, so that they're prepared for that. We're gonna have a group discussion. Well, you got to run the show, Nia, right? So you see at the end, oh, you're on mute, but you see at the end, part 3, there's like a group discussion between the candidates and the kids or the youth. So, so in that discussion, I think that's probably gonna be a lot of crosstalk that might be a little wacky, but you know, I'm sure they'll get it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think it would just be good when they come in just to run through that for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure this isn't their first rodeo.
Yeah, no. They're renowned, nationally renowned. And no, but actually, Antonio is coming in from Houston, I think. And I'm not sure where Lisa is coming in from. Yeah.
Oh my God, Houston, you have like heat and water and all that stuff?
I don't know. I gotta ask.
Oh man, well, we appreciate him coming in under all those circumstances that are going on out there. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna be on mute until you guys need me.
How did you find my name message? I just opened up the chat and said. I mean, I see your message. That's all I see, and I don't see you. And I can't share my screen to show you what I'm seeing. And I don't hear, obviously, I don't hear anything anymore.
Antonio, can you hear me now?
Who is this through? Are we through Joyful? Who are we through? Is it Joyful? Through Tiffany.
Antonio, can you hear me now?
Which one?
Why is he not? I think he can't hear us for some reason.
It requires a lot of.
We can hear him.
Oh my God.
Let's see.
Can you hear me, Marcus?
You can hear me?
I can. I just heard your question. Can you hear me?
So are you hearing yourself?
I hear myself as well. There's a.
All right, in just a moment, I think I'll have that fixed for you. Cool. Plus A.
How's he going to do that? Oh, surprise.
All right, so this is Marcus again. Can you see us and hear us at this point?
No.
This is I see the interpreter and me, but I'm unable to see anybody. And I just heard your question.
Okay.
Antonio, you're where by my? Oh, can you hear me, right? There's a delay.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.